Hello friends, this is Karthikeya Singh working as an assistant professor in School of Management Sciences, Varanasi. As we have already covered research problem, review of literature, development of working hypothesis, preparation of research design, and today we are going to cover determining the sample design. There are few techniques through which we are going to select those samples. We are going to discuss it in detail. So let's begin with, we are going to cover sampling method, and in sampling method, we have segregated into two parts: probability sampling, non-probability sampling. And in probability sampling, there are 5 parts, and in non-probability sampling, there are 4 parts. So in probability sampling, we are going to cover simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, cluster sampling, and multi-stage sampling. And in non-probability sampling, we are going to cover convenience sampling, quota sampling, judgmental sampling, and snowball sampling. So let's begin with the first type. And before moving ahead, there are few definitions which is expected to be covered. And let me start with those basic definitions. The first concept which comes under probability concept is of population. So how we are going to define any particular population or universe? These two names are interchangeably used. All the items under consideration in any field of inquiry constitute a universe. So let's take an example through which we can understand this concept. If you take an example that if any particular researcher wants to do a research on Samsung mobile phone, so whoever would be using Samsung mobile phone will be considered as a part of sample. So as a part of population. So those who are using Samsung mobile phone are going to be considered as a part of my population. So doing research with the entire population, take for an example, if you talk about a particular district of Varanasi, in Varanasi 33 lakh population is there, and out of that 33 lakh, if 3 to 4 lakh people are using Samsung cell phone, then this entire 3 to 4 lakh people are going to be considered as their population. But doing research with the entire 3 to 4 lakh population is not possible. So a researcher has to make, or a researcher has to take some representative data out of this 4 lakh population. So these people are going to select a representative data of this 3 to 4 lakh population, and that representative data is going to be called as sample. So there are several ways through which we take, or we usually select our sample, and those sampling techniques we are going to cover in this particular section or in this lecture video. So if you are going to define your universe, all the items under consideration in any field of inquiry constitute universe and population. Like in our case, Samsung users were population. Then sample design. Sample design is definite plan determined before the data are actually collected for obtaining a sample from a given population. So sampling design is a definite plan determined before any data are actually collected or obtaining a sample from a given population. That means sampling design is the process through which we usually select our sample, and that's to beforehand. Before we are going to do data collection, sampling technique is to be followed. So if we move ahead, once sampling we are going to do, we have to segregate into two parts: probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Probability sampling says each element has a known probability of being included in the sample, but non-probability sampling samples do not allow the researchers to determine this probability. If you simplify these two sentences, if you want to understand probability sampling, chances of getting every single unit remains the same in case of probability sampling. And if you talk about the chances of getting selected does not remains the same, that means that is going to be considered as non-probability sampling. So if you want to understand this with an example, take a particular lottery. Suppose in a box 100 people, cheat is there, and I have started selecting one by one till I complete a sample of 30. So I'll select one cheat at a time, and every time I select, I don't know which particular fellow is going to be selected through that cheat. So chances of getting selected of every single unit which is there in that box will be having the same chances of selection. So probability sampling says chances of getting selected of every single unit remains the same. हर बंदे के सिलेक्शन के चांसेस अगर बराबर हैं, that means it is a probability sampling. If it is not the same, then it is non-probability sampling. So there are several types of probability and non-probability sampling. We are going to cover it one by one. So let's start with probability sampling, but before that, let me define it once again. Chances of getting selected of every single unit remains the same. Always remember this while covering entire probabilistic sampling technique. So in this, if chances of getting selected of every single unit remains the same, then means that particular technique is going to be considered as probability sampling. In probability sampling, there are 5 types: simple random, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, cluster sampling, and multi-stage sampling. So one by one, we are going to cover all these 5 types. Simple random says it is just this type of sampling is known as chance sampling or probability sampling, where each and every item in the population has an equal chance of inclusion in the sample, and each one of the possible samples in case of finite universe has the same probability of being selected. I have already enumerated this particular statement here, that chances of getting selected of every single unit remains the same. That means that is going to be considered as probability. And probability, first type of probability sampling is simple random, and simple random says where every item in this population has an equal chance. This is very important line: equal chance of inclusion in the sample. Then that particular sampling technique is going to be considered as random sampling. Now let's take an example. Here we have to select a sample of 300 items, and from a universe of 15,000 items, then we can put the names or numbers of all 1500 items in the slips of paper, conduct a lottery using random numbers of tables. Another method of random sampling. This is also called a method of random sampling. So let's try to understand this particular example. Suppose a box is there where 15,000 items or names are being written in a chit. So we have created chit of 15,000 people, like few folded chits are there and their number are 15,000. And out of these 15,000 chits, we are going to select a sample of 300 items. So we have to select these chits or a name of particular fellow whose name is being mentioned in a particular chit, and we keep on taking out these chits 300 times to complete our sample size. So we are going to take one chit at a time, and in the process we are going to repeat it 300 times so that I can reach to my sample size of 300 people. So we are basically going to select it one by one, and in the process of selecting these 300 people are going to be considered as simple random. Why simple random? Because we are selecting each and every individual of sample through lottery method, where chances of getting selected of every single unit is same. We are not aware that which particular fellow is going to be selected in the next round or in the next selection which is going to be done on this 15,000 people. So 15,000 chits are there, and we are going to select it up to 3 times. So we are going to repeat the process 3 times, and then we are going to reach to our sample size of 300 people. So this is the usual process, and we usually relate it with the lottery method. And this is kind of lottery method we are going to do while selecting our sample or simple random sampling, through which we are going to select 300 people. So let's understand it. This is a simple random technique where chances of getting selected of every single unit remains the same, and we also tell it as a lottery method. Second one is systematic. It is also a part of probability sampling. So here also we are going to, means chances of getting selected of every single unit remains the same, but in this we usually give order to our selection. Order to our selection. What does this mean? Order to our selection means we are going to give particular order to our selection, like select every 15th name on a list, every 10th house on a particular site or street, and so on. Sampling of this type is known as systematic sampling. When we give order to our selection, give a sequence to our selection, then that sequencing or giving order to our choice are going to be termed as systematic sampling. Here also we are not aware that which particular house is going to be selected in our sample. We just keep it in random, and we even don't know which particular house is going to come at the 10th position or 15th position or even 5th or 6th position. So once we fix that 15th, 10th or 11th, 12th, whatever number we are going to assign, and if that particular unit is going to be part of my sampling, then we are going to term it as systematic sampling. Let's try to understand your class sitting position, through which you will easily understand. Like these are 3 columns where people usually sit in the desk, and 2 people are sitting in a particular desk. 2 students are sitting at every desk. So all in all, I think 3 into 4, 12 students are there, and I want to select 5 people out of it. So if we say that I'm going to select 5th one as part of my sample. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This particular fellow is going to be selected in my sample. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This particular fellow is going to be part of my sample. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This particular fellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one. The 1, 2, 3, 4. Then again come to this 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These people are going to be part of my sample size, and my sample size will be completed by selecting these 5 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have selected these 5 people as a part of our sample, but to select it, we have given order that every fifth individual are going to be part of my sample. Again, while giving this 5th order, we were not sure that which particular fellow is going to be at the location of 5th. So by giving a particular order to our selection, we are basically going through the process of systematic sampling. So in the first part, that was kind of lottery method. Second part, we have given a basic order to our selection, and this is this particular sampling type is called as systematic sampling. Let's move ahead. Stratified sampling. Here, stratified sampling, first heterogeneous group will be converted into homogeneous, and then sampling is going to be selected. A sample size will be selected. So first, stratified, we have to make a strata of heterogeneous to homogeneous, and from that strata we are going to select our people. So if we go definition wise, if the population from which sample is to be drawn does not constitute a homogeneous group, that means a heterogeneous group is there, then a stratified sampling technique is applied so as to obtain representative sample. In this technique, population is stratified into a number of non-overlapping subpopulation or strata, non-overlapping subpopulation of, or which is going to be called as strata, and sample items are selected from each stratum. From every strata, one particular fellow is going to be selected, or even randomly you can select a number of people. If the item selected from each stratum is based on simple random sampling, the entire procedure, first stratification and then simple random sampling, is known as stratified sampling. Now let's try to understand with an example. But before that, let's erase it. In a particular class of MBA, suppose 20, 21 and 22 years of age group people are there. So this is basically a heterogeneous group where 20 years, 21 year and 22 year students are studying in a particular class. So three age groups are there. So if I want to make it a homogeneous one, I'll select or segregate people of 20. I'll make a group of 20-year people. I'll make a second group of 21 years. I'll make a third group of 22 years. So basically, I have made a strata of 20 years, 21 years, and 22 years. And these are basically strata, different three strata of three age groups. And from these age group, if we are going to select randomly to complete our sample size, the entire process is going to be termed as stratified sampling. So let's understand this is the heterogeneous group. From heterogeneous, we have make a homogeneous group of 20 years, 21 years, and 22 years. And from these 20-year people and 22-year people and 21 and 22-year people, we are going to select our people randomly. Select our people randomly. So by selecting it randomly, basically we are going to do a process of stratified sampling. So this is going to be our stratified sampling process. Hope you must have understood this concept. Let's move cluster sampling. In cluster sampling, like in a stratified sampling, we were making heterogeneous into homogeneous, and then we're making then we are selecting people randomly. Here we are going to select the entire cluster. So let's understand the process first, and then I'll give you an example. Cluster sampling involves grouping the population and then selecting the group or the clusters rather than individual element or inclusion in the sample. Suppose some departmental store wishes to sample its credit card holders, and it has issued 15,000 customers, and sample size to be kept is 450. For cluster sampling, this list of 15,000 card holders could be formed into a group of 100 clusters of 150 card holders each. Now, 3 clusters might then be selected of some sample randomly. The sample size must be larger than the simple random sample to ensure that same level of accuracy because cluster sampling procedural potential for order bias or other sources of error usually accentuated. Means this has to be taken care of. So let's take the same example. Like one particular store has given or distributed 15,000 cards. So we can segregate on the basis of card uses. Like 100 people use 1,000 rupees. Next 100 people use 2,000 rupees from their card. Next 100 people use 3,000 rupees from the card. Likewise, 15 groups can be made, or those 15 groups can be considered as clusters. And from these clusters, if we are going to select randomly group number 1, group number 2, group number 3, likewise, and if we are going to select any of these groups randomly, then we are basically doing an entire group is to be selected from this as a cluster. So cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3 are going to be selected, and then selection of this cluster or selection of the particular entire group, the process is going to be termed as cluster sampling. So this is the process of cluster sampling. So let's move ahead. Multi-stage sampling. As the name suggests, we reach to our sample in multiple stage. So in this, we reach to our sample through several stages. So this is the further development of the idea of the cluster sampling. This technique is meant for big inquiries extending to a considerably large geographical area like the entire country, like an entire country. This is further development of the idea of cluster sampling. This is further extension of the cluster sampling, and this technique is meant for big inquiries extending to a considerably large geographical area like an entire country. Under multi-stage sampling, the first stage may be to select a large primary sampling units such as states, then districts, then towns, then finally certain families within the towns. So we are basically reaching to a particular family in several stages. That's why it is called as multi-stage. If the technique of random sampling is applied at all the stages, the sampling procedure is described as multi-stage sampling, random sampling. Now let's understand. If we want to select certain house or even a sample of people in Varanasi, and the researcher is in USA. So first he'll approach India, then UP, then Varanasi as a district. In Varanasi, that locality, and from that locality, particular household, and from that I'm going to select my sample. So I have done all these things in several stages, and that's why these particular stages are going to be called as multi-stage, because we have reached to our sample size in multiple stages. So we have covered probability sampling, where chances of getting selected of every single unit remains the same. First one was simple random, which we can consider it as a lottery method. Systematic, where we give order to our selection. Stratified, first we convert heterogeneous group into homogeneous one, and then we select our sample. Cluster, we make cluster of different groups, and then we select those cluster randomly. And multi-stage, we reach to our sample size in several stages. That's why it is called as multi-stage. So all in all, these 5 types are there in probability sampling, and every type, chances of getting selected of every single unit remains the same. That's why it is part of probability sampling. Now let's move ahead and start covering this non-probability sampling, where chances of getting selected of every single unit does not remains the same. Let's understand this statement first, as I have already elaborated in the beginning of it. Every single unit is not having the same chances of getting selected, means some biasness would be there. Few people usually select by their own convenience, so chances are there every individual is not going to get the same chances. So if every individual is not going to get the same chances of getting selected, that means it is non-probability sampling. And there are 4 types of it: convenience sampling, quota sampling, judgmental sampling, and a snowball sampling. Let's cover it one by one. The first, it says, it is also going to be termed as deliberate sampling, is known as purposive and non-probability sampling. This sampling method involves purposive and deliberate selection of particular units of the universe for constituting a sample which represents the universe. That means where deliberate selection is going to be made. Deliberate selection means out of our own convenience, we are going to select it. When population elements are selected for inclusion in the sample based on the ease of access, availability of accessibility, it can be called as convenience sampling. So if you're going to select anything as per your own convenience and without having or given a chance of getting selected of every single unit, and that is not going to remain the same, that means you are following basically convenience sampling. If a researcher wishes to secure data from, say, gasoline buyers, he may select a fixed number of petrol stations and may conduct interviews at these stations. This would be an example of convenience sample of gasoline buyers. At times, such a procedure may give very biased results, particularly when the population is not homogeneous. So, means there are certain limitations also. If you are going to select sample at your own convenience, so chances of getting biased result would be very much prominent in this convenience sampling. But as a student, when you are going to do certain research, chances are there you are going to utilize this convenience sampling, because if retailers are going to be involved, if distributors are going to be involved, if some random customers are going to be involved, people usually prefer to select people as a sample who are very near to them, who are easily contacted, and those who can be easily approached. So while doing this, we usually take care of our own some convenience, and in the process we are not allowing everybody chance to be selected in the sample size, because we are selecting everybody on our own convenience. And that's why it is part of non-probability sampling, and the first part we are going to consider it as convenience sampling. So anything which you are going to select as your own convenience are going to be considered as your convenience sampling. Next one, quota sampling. In quota sampling, let's go through the definition, and then we'll try to understand through one of the examples. Like in stratified sampling, the cost of taking random samples from individual strata is often so expensive that interviewers are simply given quota to be filled from different strata. So actual selection item sample being left to the interviewer's judgment, it is called quota sampling. So in quota sampling, one important thing which we usually follow, here also we do stratification of the population, and from this stratification we usually select quota number of people, and as we select quota, specific number of people, not on a random basis but at the judgment of the researcher, that means we are going to do it through non-probability way, and that's why it is going to be called as quota sampling. But before that, we usually follow stratification method, which we did in the first probability sampling, stratified sampling. So first we do stratification, that means we are going to convert a heterogeneous group into the homogeneous one, and then we select a specific number of people as per the judgment of the researcher. That's why it is non-probability sampling. Here, the size of the quota from each stratum is generally proportionate to the size of the stratum of the population. Quota sampling is thus an important form of non-probability sampling. Quota samples generally happens to be judgment sample rather than random sample. That's why, because it is going to be selected on the basis of the judgment of the researcher, and this is the reason due to which it is going to be called as quota sampling. But here you have to do a stratification, means you have to convert a heterogeneous group into homogeneous one. That example which I have already quoted, like in a class 20, 21 and 22 years of people are studying. If we divide the entire class into the age group of 20-year people, 21-year people and 22-year students, then from these three strata we are going to select. That means we have done stratification, but in stratified sampling we were selecting people randomly. Here we are going to select on the basis of judgment of the researcher, and that's why it is going to be part of non-probability sampling, and the specific name which is being given to this sampling technique is quota sampling. Let's move further. Judgmental sampling, as the name suggests, on the basis of the judgment of the researcher. Judgmental sampling, the researcher judgment is used for selecting items which he consider as a representative of the population. Means researcher is very much experienced. On the basis of his judgment, we are going to select the sample. And that's why it is going to be called as judgmental sampling. For example, judgment sampling of college students might be taken for to secure reactions to new method of teaching. Judgment sampling is used quite frequently in qualitative research, where desire happens to be to develop hypothesis rather than generalize to the larger population. So if a specific number of people are there, a small sample size is there, and a researcher is very much having the expertise of that particular field, he may use his judgment to select his sample size. And this is possible in qualitative. Most of the qualitative researchers use this kind of sampling techniques, and where judgment of researcher is very much prominent, and it is very useful to select those sample sizes. So let's move further. This one is the last one. Snowball sampling, people usually give reference within the same interest group, and the entire size of the sample keeps on increasing. So take for an example, researcher going to do research on a brand, and respondent gives researcher is going to do researcher on a brand, and respondent gives reference to other people who are using the same brand, and process continues. Let me explain this with an example. Suppose you are going to do a research on Samsung mobile phone attributes, which is going to be preferred by youngsters. So if you want to reach to all the people who are using Samsung cell phone, you have to start with one particular fellow, and you can ask that please give me reference So you have to start with one particular fellow, means one individual is going to give a reference of two people who are using Samsung phone. So these 1 and 2, these 1 and 2 fellow will give reference to 3 and 4. These fellow will give reference to P5 and P6. These two again will give reference to P7 and P8. Likewise P9 and P10. Likewise P11 and P12, P13 and P14. So it has started with P original. One particular fellow has given reference of two people who are using Samsung cell phone. So from this particular reference, I have got another two references, P3, P4. From this P4, 3, I have got two another references. So likewise, it will keep on increasing. And this is the quality of a snowball. If you throw one particular small snow from top of a hill, it remains small, but it reaches the bottom of the hill, then it becomes very large. And the same principle is being used in snowball sampling. One particular fellow usually gives reference to two other people who are using Samsung cell phone. And likewise, this process continues till we reach to our sample size. And the entire process is going to be called as snowball sampling. So this is it for sampling technique. And this is the fifth step of research process. And I have elaborated each and every type of it in probability, simple random, systematic, stratified, cluster, multi-stage, and in non-probability, convenience, quota, judgmental, and snowball. So while covering this sampling technique, one separate unit is also dedicated to this sampling technique. There we are going to cover the entire sampling technique much in detail, because that is going to be dedicated chapter on sampling technique. And there also we are going to cover all these things much in detail. So for research process, whatever sampling techniques we are going to utilize, I have already discussed it through several examples. So thank you so much for watching, and we are going to cover the next step in the next lecture video.